The Denver Broncos have lost yet another high-profile coach on defense. According to multiple reports, Broncos defensive line coach Marcus Dixon is set to leave the team and join the Minnesota Vikings as their defensive line coach under defensive coordinator Brian Flores. This is the second high-profile defensive coach the Broncos have lost in about a week, with Christian Parker announcing his departure to the Philadelphia Eagles to be their DB's coach under Vic Fangio. This is going to be one that I feel like hurts a little bit less losing Marcus Dixon than losing Christian Parker. If I had to lose one, it was going to be Marcus Dixon. Marcus Dixon and Christian Parker were the only two coaches that were held over from the Ajero Evero defensive staff by Vance Joseph when he came in as defensive coordinator last year. I felt like Marcus Dixon honestly kind of underachieved a little bit, although he has been highly, highly respected in the Broncos locker room and by media members. The Broncos defensive line was not the greatest unit last year. They were physically overwhelmed on multiple different occasions. That Detroit game in particular really exposed the lack of depth and the lack of development on this Broncos defensive line. So I'm personally kind of okay with the Denver Broncos losing Marcus Dixon and maybe bringing in some fresh blood to coach the defensive line. I also think some new personnel is going to be necessary on that unit. I already know the team's going to be most likely moving on from DJ Jones for salary cap reasons, and there'll be some other moves that need to be made on that defensive line. Zach Allen is really the only bona fide starter that you have on the interior D-line right now. I do feel like Marcus Dixon did a good job working with edge rushers. I do feel like that was one positive of his. Obviously, Jonathan Cooper, Nick Benito, Baron Browning, those guys I feel like did a good job developing under Marcus Dixon, but the interior D-line production, which let's just be honest here, is really Dixon's bread and butter. That is where I feel like there were a lot of shortcomings for the Denver Broncos last year, and losing Marcus Dixon for some in Broncos country might be a significant blow, but for me, I feel like it's time to get some new blood in at D-line coach and basically conduct a full-scale rebuild on the Broncos defensive line between coaches and players of everybody in that building except for Zach Allen. Zach Allen's basically the only guy who was a contributor on the Broncos defensive line last year who's going to be a part of it this year, I feel like. All right, Broncos country, I am curious about your thoughts on the Denver Broncos losing defensive line coach Marcus Dixon to the Minnesota Vikings. Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.